You could labor 10 years under a master, trying to discern whether the teachings are true. But all you might learn is this: one must live one's own life. Good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, March 26th, 2021. And welcome back to the All Around Growth Podcast. This is episode number 120 of a show that gives you some insight and tools to build the life and homestead of your dreams. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host, checking back in with you after a week and an episode titled Fate that left us with an uncertain future of the show. But I don't like that uncertainty, and I miss recording and spending a little bit of time with you guys. So here we are with episode number 120, titled Karoshi and Life, my recent break and the future. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this word that I stumbled across Wednesday, I believe. And it was something that inspired me to return to the show today. And it was enough that I wanted to share it with you, along with what's been going on lately in my life and what the future has in store with the show. So, without further ado, my friends, let's get right into it. It is a windy morning, by the way, too. We've got some limbs down and some trees down, and Cody, our tenant farmer here, is out quite early this morning, probably trying to get a handle on everything here on the farm, but it looks like everything is under control. Anyways, Karoshi. What is this? Karoshi, which can be translated literally as overwork death, is a Japanese term relating to occupational sudden mortality. The most common medical causes of Karoshi deaths are heart attacks or strokes due to stress and a starvation diet. Mental stress from the workplace can also cause Karoshi through workers taking their own lives. People who commit suicide to overwork are called karōjisatsu. Karōjisatsu. Forgive me, Japanese is not my native tongue. The phenomenon of death by overwork is also widespread in other parts of Asia. And you can read more on Wikipedia through the link in the show notes. I first heard that term, like I said, on Wednesday or so, through another podcast that I stumbled across in the 48 Days Eagles community. And that was a podcast called Mama Says Namaste. And the title of that podcast was A Busy Life or a Full Life. It's the most recent podcast that they have released. And it reads as the intro notes to the show read: do you have a full life or a busy one? Sometimes we wear our busy as a badge of honor, yet it is really the life, is it really the life you want to live? Is that the excuse you want to give? Sometimes there is a season for being busy and really hustling hard, but the term busy versus having a full life, there is a different mindset around these. And Ashley and her husband, Nathan, I believe, spend the episode talking about that. And it's about, 25, 30 minutes long, something like that. It's an easy listen. And for those of you who are homeschoolers or unschoolers or living a life that's maybe a little bit different from the norm, or you aspire to do so, I think that podcast might be of benefit to you. So check it out. But that word, Karoshi, is something that Ashley and Nathan talked about in that episode. And it got me thinking about what has been going on lately in my life, my own life, my personal life. I've had more seizures than I've had in the past few years, in the past few weeks or months. And I've been working 6 days a week for months, with my day off being spent working in the commercial kitchen, that construction project that we are building on the farm for my dad. It's also spring season at the day job. Spring has sprung. It is busy. And I just got a text from my partner, my co-worker today, Sam. It sounds like she's got a migraine. I hope she doesn't mind me mentioning this. But you know, and when one of us is gone, it puts a stress on the other. And you know, we work really well together. We support each other. And you know, she's gone today, and I was gone yesterday because I've been experiencing some digestive issues again. And luckily, this time, unlike a few years ago when I experienced some of this for the first time and was perhaps misdiagnosed at that time, I am not likely going to have to spend any time in the hospital. But I was out of the office yesterday because, well, my friends, I had a colonoscopy, and I've never had one of those before, and that is an all-day event. And the lead up into that is something else, but perhaps I'll talk about my digestive issues and health-related things on another isolated episode. So all of this has, you know, the seizures, springtime, the busyness with the commercial kitchen, all of the uptick in the digestive problems and challenges, time spent doing volunteer work with a couple different organizations in the community. You know, it's been a busy recent few weeks, month. It's been busy and stressful, and I don't necessarily view my life as stressful in the way that I used to. Or rather, I don't necessarily view my life as stressful because I've made some active changes in my life over the past decade to mitigate some of the stress that I was experiencing at that time. You know, stress that I perceived as what I was experiencing from living a life in the corporate world. And I tried to get away from that and was taking steps towards getting away from that. And my plan was derailed a little bit by some seizure-related medical challenges and concerns, which were unexpected those were in the form of a coma. So this all of this this is all what's been going on lately in my life, the seizures and the busy springtime, the busy spring season, homestead projects, digestive issues. None of this is new, but it's all culminating, I guess, for lack of a better term. And I've been, I operate better, more effectively when I maintain a schedule and a routine. That's part of what is going on today with this, is trying to get back into the routine a little bit of having some structure and doing some of the things that bring me joy. Because this podcast and taking the time to have a conversation with you brings me joy. It knowing that I'm engaging with you and knowing that a lot of the shows that I record are based on feedback from you, it's important to me, because that's a relationship in my life that, as a result of cultivating the positivity in my life, and you're doing that too. And the fact that we're connecting in this way is a direct result of us trying to achieve that in our life collectively, and doing so in this way. So, the podcast and the show and interacting with you is one of many things that I don't want to cut out, but I'm not so sure I can effectively maintain the schedule that I had been maintaining with the podcast, which was every weekday. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get back to that. I'd like to. I don't want to make any commitments. And when I recorded last Friday and basically said that I'm effectively done, I was burnt out. So I took a break. And sometimes we need to do that in life. And if you need to take a break in life from whatever it is that you're doing, that's fine. Do that. Communicate to the people in your life that it's going to impact accordingly. Take the break. And if you come back, okay. And if you don't, okay. But again, just be sure that you communicate these things. We all have to focus on what's important and what's best for us in this life and in this moment. And for me, right now, it's going to be a return focus on my health. And, a lot of what I'm going to focus on and I'm going to direct discussion and dialogue towards with the show is not really unlike much of what the show's been about for the past 120 some episodes over the past few months. Even the ones that date back, that are no longer around from the very beginning. The Dimensions of Wellness and the series on that. But a lot of this stems from a conversation and a lot of dialogue yesterday with my girlfriend, who was generous enough to drive me around and help me out, and has been lately with the seizures as well. She's a wonderful person and loves me very much, and I love her very much. We talked a lot about what's all this work for if we're not healthy enough to enjoy it down the road. after we've put in all the work and effort and energy? What's all the work for if we don't make the time to enjoy it while we're doing it? And what's all the work for if we're not spending time now doing the things that bring us joy? What's it all for? So I'm realizing that I'm going to try and spend some time scheduling time to do the things that I want to do, to have fun. And for me, part of this fun is the show, for reasons I just mentioned and alluded to earlier. But that may mean that at times like this, when there's all these things going on, all this life on life's terms, that the show may have a reduced or inconsistent frequency with less complete and comprehensive show notes. And I still wish to, do episodes based on feedback from you guys, and I will continue looking to you for feedback in future episodes in all the ways that you connect with me, through the Telegram group, through email, allaroundgrowth@gmail.com, through Facebook, whatever social media channel you use. I'm on some new ones as well, Float, blockchain based. Maybe we can talk about that more someday. I don't know. But Twitter, also there too. I am not a huge fan of all the social media, but I do think it is an important part of life, and especially new forms of social media outside of the old standard Facebook and Twitter. Things like Float. So connect with me there. You can find me at Rob Kaiser on many platforms, All Around Growth on some others. And in addition to some of those changes that I mentioned, I may look into some ways of monetizing this podcast as well. Getting sponsors and trying to look at turning this into some kind of an income stream, even if it is a very small one, and one that is simply enough to pay for what the show costs for hosting and things like that. I may change how I'm going to do the hosting, the website for the show. There's a lot of things that I have in mind now that I'm kind of convinced that I'm interested in actually doing this consistently. And in order to learn and recognize that I wanted to do it consistently, I had to step away from it and realize that perhaps the way for me to do it consistently is to do it less consistently. So, the only constants in life, my friends, are change, and that includes, but isn't limited to, change with this show on this podcast and this life. So if you like what you hear and you want to support the show, just go to the show notes. You can click to rate and review the podcast. We are getting most listens through Apple Music via iTunes at this point in time. And if you are one of those people who utilizes that platform to listen, I would encourage you to go to Apple Podcasts and give a 5-star rating and a written review there. That really helps the algorithms, helps grow the show, and helps keep it moving forward in the way that it has. Or you can also give it a rating on your podcast player of choice if you don't want to mess around with all of that nonsense. I appreciate it either way. Share it with a friend, share it on the social media as we previously discussed, And you can also find a link to all the past episodes in the show notes as well. And as always, if you have a question or any feedback for me, send it my way, allaroundgrowth@gmail.com. Reach out to me on Facebook. We've got a Facebook group. Admittedly, I'm not very active there, but you can connect with me personally, robkaiser.me, and ultimately on Telegram. That's a great way for you to participate with us in a small community there, t.me/allaroundgrowth. It's good to be back. I appreciate your time. I hope that you have a great day. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.